I couldn't tell you the outcomes.
I appreciate that.
In that.
Yeah.
So I guess, I think the difference is, from a junior geography point of view, instead of talking things in isolation, actually connecting the dots between all those processes, and how precipitation is going to lead to potentially creating karst landscapes within riverine landscapes, that sort of thing as well. So that's what I'd expect with a senior geography student, starting to not just talk about rivers in isolation, but the water cycle, maybe even part of the carbon cycle, oxygen cycle, all parts of the whole biome or whatever it is. That's what I'd expect from a senior student.
Are there particular river features that you expect them to be able to explain?
I would say a few that I mentioned before: meanders, rapids, oxbow lakes. I don't know if you count tributaries or not, or water holes and things like that. Yeah, just off the top of my head.
Okay, that's pretty good. And same question again, but if you're asking, what would you expect from students if they had a thorough understanding of the way humans influence the flow of rivers?
Yeah, so I guess we could talk about management or managed human environments, so the use of agriculture within a riverine landscape, maybe a constructed environment, so building a dam, something along those lines, and using those for energy generation, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay. When did you last teach river processes in geography?
Well, I guess it's happening right now. With stage 4, and we're doing landscapes and landforms. So, I mean,
it's your first go through right now.
Not my first go. So, when I was at Shaw, you probably were teaching at the old Bangladesh and drainage basins back then. So, it's not the first time. It's just, I guess, with rivers, with the stage 4 at the moment, I haven't got ahead in the program to the point that where we're looking at isolation, but I guess the key difference is when I was doing it with Year 9 at Shaw, it was a term of rivers and drainage basins, and now with the program that we've got and the way the syllabus is that it's interlocked with all the other landscapes and landforms. So, having not gone right into it yet, we're literally just learning about what a desert is in terms of rainfall and all that sort of thing. So we haven't got into much depth with that. Having said that, with my stage 5 Year 10s, doing environmental change and management, I didn't have them last year in Year 9 here, so I haven't done those earlier chapters, but doing that, we've looked at the water cycle just in the last week, so that's pretty fresh in the memory.
Cool.
Yeah.
If you were teaching river processes and formation, what approach would you take?
Combination, like from using diagrams, videos, and getting outside and looking at a river would be ideal. Particularly at this school anyway, I've really noticed there's a very broad range of student. And so I think you've got to diversify and differentiate your teaching strategies as much as possible. Yeah. So having field work, watching videos, reading, writing, drawing, I think is a really good one as well. And I think doing something like that, drawing there.
It's really about multiple approaches.
Exactly.
Yeah? Okay. All right. Again, another flip. Okay. What incorrect ideas about or misconceptions about rivers and their formations would you expect students to have prior to studying this topic? So if they walked into your classroom cold, like we tried to do with Year 11 this morning, what do you think they bring with them? Specific ideas?
I don't think they see the greater picture of rivers inside a drainage basin. I think they just think, here's this little river, and it's everything that happens 5 metres either side of the riverbank. And it's not the farm that's next to it and the dam that's further upstream and what's happening down at the beach and how it's all interconnected, and how then with the water cycle there's all sorts of contributions to how water ends up there and how there's different human and environmental influences that can change those.
Yep.
So I think it is just, they've probably got, if you said, do you know what the difference is between evaporation and precipitation? I think they could tell you that, but then they don't know the connection of that and how that then flows into how that ends up in a river and the multiple ways it can end up in a river. Yeah.
Is there any specific ideas that you think that they would carry that might get in their way of understanding
the whole
rivers?
time?
Could they develop from their own personal experience?
Yeah. Oh, look, I think, I don't know if this is what you're looking for, but coming to a place like this, you know, you've got a lot of students from farms.
Right.
And I think there could be an opinion on use of irrigation.
Okay.
You know, and
what opinions do you think?
That you know that they might feel entitled to the water in a river.
Okay. Right.
And so you know you watched that Murray-Darling Four Corners that was on at the end of last year, and the use of irrigation upstream and the fairness of using that. And some students here might think, no, that's okay. And bugger the ones that are further downstream.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but, I mean, that's probably a very small number of students that would think that way because they're not all farmers.
Yep.
I think, just generally speaking, with teaching, some students are going to think, what do I care about rivers? And so it doesn't bother me that the creek down the back of the garden, if I don't know, wash my bike out on the lawn with chemical, it's irrelevant what ends up happening downstream. So I think...
So it's not so much a misconception but a lack of care factor.
Maybe a little bit, yeah. I mean, I think only 2.5 weeks in, it's kind of, getting to know my students as much as anything, and getting back into teaching this geography stuff. It's still myself getting a picture about what these kids might misunderstanding, I guess.
Well, that's very much what this question's about. So, Oh, cool. All right. You did all right there. Oh, the questionnaire.
Okay.
So, I think it's on here. We need to put your name on the top. If you could put your name in block letters up there. Should have done that at the start.
So,
But we'll get better at this. And the next page also. Up there. And we'll take this one. So what we're going to do here is we'll go through each of, there are 28 of them. Yep, 28 items. So for each of them, we're going to consider each of the items and then decide whether each of them are true or false. Mm-hmm. And there's a confidence scale.
Okay.
Completely unsure, in other words, I'm guessing, pulling this out of space, through to I've got this thing nailed.
It's where you discover if I'm arrogant or not.
Not exactly. We just want to know
completely anxious.
whether you're really concrete about these things or whether you're having a stab in the dark.
No, that's all.
Yeah. So if any part of the item rings untrue whatsoever, the whole item's false. Yeah. So if you globally think, this kind of looks reasonable, but there's this little element of it that bothers me, then it's false. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
So the first one is rivers do not carve valleys but only passively flow down them. What are your thoughts about that one?
That's false.
Okay. Do you want to explain your rationale for that?
Because the movement of water creates erosion.
Okay.
Circle false.
Yep. And how confident are you about that answer?
Yeah.
Okay. Rivers in the northern hemisphere flow south, while those in the southern hemisphere flow north.
That's false.
Yeah.